how's it going? Welcome to the Panther postseason breakdown, where today I'm going to be breaking down the District 4A Division 1 Region 1 playoff bracket. Within this, I'm going to be diving into the District 2 standings and rankings, which is of course our district, as well as the District 1 standings and rankings, which is of course our opposing district's standings and rankings. And finally, I will be looking into the two possible opponents that the Fort Stockton Panthers will more than likely be facing against if and when we win the bi-district match. So before we get into this, I am gonna have everything on my left side of the screen. So before we get into things, everything that I'm gonna be looking at on my screen over here is going to be here on my left side of the screen for you guys to freely see and follow along with what I am looking at. And without further ado, let's get straight into this thing. Alright, so to start off this video, we have the District 2 standings and rankings. Of course, in first we have Andrews, Fort Stockton in second, Lakeview in third, and Big Spring in fourth. Those last two might come to you guys as a shocker. What happened on Friday night was Lakeview did beat down the Big Spring Steers, I believe 49-35. Correct me if I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. And of course, sadly, our Fort Stockton Panthers did lose to the Anjou Mustangs on Friday night as well, placing us into that second place spot. Lakeview, however, will be moved up to the third seed in our district. So again, Andrews has that first place. I don't know how ties work. I'm gonna assume it is due to head matchups, and so since we are tied with Andrews 2-1 and we lost to Andrews, that pushes us down to second. And since Lakeview did beat Big Spring and they are tied 1-2, Lakeview takes that advantage and gets that third seed, placing them against the number 2 seed in the District 1 standings. So with that said, let's move over to the District 1 standings and rankings. Alright, now that we have moved on to the District 1 football standings, we have Riverside at first, second Clint, Mountain View in third, and fourth Fabens. There is a 5th place spot. I don't know why I'm holding up 10, but there is a 5th place spot, and San Elizario has that place with a record of 0-4. Sadly, we were supposed to play them last year, but they did have to forfeit. I believe it was due to COVID reasons, so we will not get to see any sort of rematch against them at all this year. And the records for these teams are Riverside 4-0, Clint 3-1, Mountain View 2-2, Fabens 1-3. I will not be talking about what the matchups are because you guys will be seeing that up next in the playoff bracket. So let's go ahead and move on to that, since we are pretty much finished with reading out the records of the District 1 football standings. Alright, so what you guys see on my left hand side, probably you guys right hand side, I don't know what you guys see, but you guys are seeing the official UIL Texas high school playoff bracket. So on top we have Riverside against Big Spring. That one should be a good one. Below them, their possible opponents are Lake Worth and Hereford. I don't know those teams, so we're gonna move on. We have Andrews and Fabens, and their two possible opponents will be Kenyon and Springtown. I partially know Kenyon, not so much Springtown. Next up, we have our spot of the playoff bracket. We have above us Dumas and Decatur. I am completely butchering that name and I sincerely apologize. Please correct me if I'm wrong, or please tell me that I am correct so I can at least be satisfied that I pronounced it correctly. And right below that, we have our Fort Stockton Panthers against Mountain View. And of course, below that, we have Hershey and Pampa, and Clint and Lakeview. So one thing I do want to mention is that Riverside and Big Spring will more than likely be a really good game. I would actually genuinely love to see that. We have the number 4 seed going at the number 1 seed in El Paso, and of course, again, like I said, we did beat Riverside a couple years ago, so seeing Big Spring against that team might definitely be one to watch. You might even see an upset, I don't know. Of course, again, they are 4-0, so they definitely have been doing some work over there, so I would love to see that if they weren't on the same day, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty far. And I'm not going to be talking about the Andrews or Lakeview games because I don't really know much about those other teams at all, so we're not going to be diving into those. But we will finally move on to our last topic, which is the two possible teams that our Fort Stockton Panthers will more than likely be going against. Again, if and when we win the bi-district match. So if we do win against Mountain View, we will be facing either Dumas or Decatur. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering that, but Dumas, if I remember correctly, should be around the Amarillo side of Texas. I could be completely wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, please. And I believe Decatur is around the Dallas area. Those should definitely be some interesting ones. And let's go ahead and move on into the records of these two teams. So we have Dumas at 7-2 overall, and in their district they were 3-0. So they did have that first seed in their district. They of course only lost 2 games overall, which is absolutely incredible. We only lost 2 games as well, so if that is the team that we do face in the second round, then that will definitely be one to see as well. That'll be super fun to see. I don't know any teams that they did beat or lose to, except Estacado. They did win against them 30-27. That is in the Lubbock area. And if you do not remember the 2019 season, we did face Lubbock Estacado in the first round of the playoff match. Sadly, I believe we lost something like maybe 28-0 or something like that. We did sadly lose by a lot, but it was still a playoff game, and it was still a lot of fun to experience. So hopefully this game is going to be super fun as well. Next up, we have the Decatur. I'm so butchering that name, but we have the Decatur Eagles, and overall they are 4-6, and in their district they sit in the 4th seed with a record of 2-3. So realistically, that is usually the team that we are going to want to go against, just for the favorable matchup that we are facing the lower seed within their district. But you know, some things can go very, very strange within playoff matches. We've seen it tons of times in professional games, in college games, even in high school games. Maybe the 4 seed will take down the 1 seed. Maybe we'll face that team. Maybe that game would be better than us facing the 1 seed. Maybe, you never know. These things can go very, very different in different scenarios. However, I do not know any of the teams that they faced. The only team that I recognize is Glen Rose, and they lost 41-21. I know the only thing I remember of them is Cruz always telling me how good of a team they were. And that's pretty much all I remember. I could be wrong, Cruz, I'm sorry. But that is really all that we have to talk about in today's video. So once again, I will show you guys the playoff bracket one last time. Riverside and Big Spring definitely going to be a super big game. I'm going to take Big Spring within that game. Andrews and Fabens, I have zero idea how that's going to go, but that is the number 1 seed against the number 4 seed. So Andrews should definitely take on that game and play either Canyon or Springtown. And of course, our game against Mountain View, we should definitely take that win, or the number 2 seed against the number 3 seed. And more than likely be facing Dumas within the next round again. We do not know how that's going to go because sometimes upsets happen. But finally, we do have Hershey and Pampa. I do not know either of those teams other than Pampa because I played them in tennis and they were really good. But other than that, I have no idea how their football teams are, and we have Clint and Lakeview, and that game should actually probably be a little bit interesting as well. I'm maybe going to go ahead and just take Clint on that one just for the fact that they are the number 2 seed against our number 3 seed. But Lakeview is actually really good, so I definitely can't say. I'm going to go with a 55% chance on Clint winning and a 45% chance on Lakeview. That's what I'm going to say. That game should probably be pretty damn good too. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys are as interested in these kinds of things as I am, because Cruz definitely got me into them a couple years ago when we were talking a lot about these kinds of things. So if you guys were not informed on these standings, then there you go. That is how the District 2 standings look. Andrews in 1st, us in 2nd, Lakeview in 3rd, Big Spring in 4th. And these are the teams that we are all going to be facing within the first round. So again, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, and if you don't mind, click that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love, baby.